We are continuing our discussion of the highly controversial Measure J in Monterey County. We are joined by Chris Cook, who is representing California American Water and No on J. And also joining us is Melody Crislock, who is with Public Water Now, representing Yes on J. We're going to begin by giving each an opportunity to give us an opening statement. We did a coin flip prior to the broadcast to determine who will go first, and that will be Chris Cook from CalAm and No on J. Go ahead, Chris.
Thank you, Dan, Aaron, Melody. I was born and raised in Carmel. My family and friends live here. My goal today is to help our community make an informed decision on November 6th. In talking with customers, the two main issues our community cares about related to Measure J are: one, can it reduce my water bill? And two, will I get a second opportunity to vote? First, related to price. California American Water has been working hard to deliver large infrastructure projects on budget, drive operational efficiencies, and CalAm has announced we will be considering a long-term plan to balance rates throughout statewide service areas. I believe these efforts will deliver more benefit to our community than a potential condemnation attempt that could cost ratepayers over $1,800 per year. Switching to the second issue, Measure J claims to address feasibility but does not define the term feasible and does not require a second vote by the public once the costs are determined. For these reasons, I do not think Measure J is good for our community.
All right, very good. Melody is here to talk about the other side. Go ahead, Melody.
Thanks, Casper, for letting us have this opportunity to address questions on Measure J. CalAm Corporation CalAm's ownership has given us the most expensive water in the country. We can do better under public ownership. 83% of Californians get their water from public water systems for good reason: local control and lower costs. A yes vote on Measure J requires the Monterey Peninsula Water Management District do a feasibility study to find out if we can afford to buy CalAm, and if so, to proceed. There is no blank check. The proposed buyout must be financially feasible and in the public interest. CalAm's claim that a public buyout would raise water costs is entirely based on their ridiculously inflated billion-dollar valuation. CalAm takes $19 million a year in profit and corporate taxes. That money could be used to buy CalAm without raising our water costs. Measure J will let us find out if corporate-owned water or community-owned water is the best choice for the peninsula.
Well, the real issue we're trying to figure out is what's best for ratepayers tonight. Aaron?
And so I'm going to touch on one of the issues that you both brought up in your opening statements, and that is that proponents of Measure J frequently state that they support the measure because it simply calls for a feasibility study. That's how the measure was initially pitched to the public. CalAm and J opponents say it requires much more than that. It does require, if Measure J passes, for the purchase of CalAm to move forward. So I think it is helpful if we look at the actual language of the measure as it appears on the ballot. So if you read the entire measure, here's what it says. Rule 19.8A. It shall be the policy of the district, if and when feasible, to secure and maintain public ownership of all water production, storage and delivery system assets and infrastructure providing services within its territory. That is then followed by Rule 19.8B. The district shall acquire through negotiation or through eminent domain, if necessary, all assets of California American Water or any successor in interest to California American Water for the benefit of the district as a whole. So the question is, and I'm going to start with Melody and then we'll let Chris respond, it does sound like a mandate. It does sound like we're going to do a feasibility study and then we're going to go forward. And this is really voters' one and only chance to vote on this.
It is. That's very true. And we have never presented it any other way. We sent this brochure out to 35,000 households, and in it the language is very clear that this is about a buyout of CalAm if feasible. We have always said that. We have never said that this was just a feasibility study.
If feasible is the question. You're asking us to trust the Monterey Peninsula Water Management District to make that decision in the place of ratepayers to determine their situation and whether or not they're going to take on debt to move forward.
Yes.
Very good. Chris?
What I would say is the previous measures did not call for the securing or eminent domain of CalAm if deemed feasible. The other ones would have required a second vote. So you first have to ask, well, why wasn't a second vote why didn't they allow for a second whole process where the public could have input and give a vote that would be transparent. The second part is with reference to feasibility. You're right, there is no definition of feasibility here. And if you look at Claremont as an example, that one went all the way through to eminent domain, which this one would too, because Cal-Am's not for sale. So it would go to eminent domain, and in that one, it was ruled that there was not the public benefit to have the buyout, and the community was left with $14 million of legal fees.
Let's talk about that. Legal fees. Going forward, one way or another, Cal-Am's not going to just hand it over. So we're talking about a legal fight one way or another. Where's the money going to come for the legal fight, Melanie?
Well, the Water Management District is paying for the feasibility study, and they will be paying for the legal fees. But I want to say something about Claremont, because this is very disingenuous on the part of Cal-Am. Claremont is one of 400 public buyouts in the last 20 years in the whole country. They are one of the only one or two that have ever failed. 400 successful public buyouts, and one or two, and Cal-Am focuses on one who was poorly prepared, did not do their homework, and didn't even get through this is of public
Respectfully,
necessity.
I'd like to stick to buyouts that have to do with California, just going forward. And I'm not saying that some of those aren't from California. I do want to ask this, though. We got a Facebook question. Constance asked us, she wants to know, because a lot of this, at the end of the day, comes down to trust. And there's a lot of water under the bridge, frankly, not just from Cal-Am, but also in the Monterey Peninsula Water Management District, that has rubbed a lot of ratepayers the wrong way. And so Constance asks on Facebook, how much is Cal-Am paying for all this advertising that's coming out of water rates? And the latest number that we were able to find is in the $800,000 range. Chris, is that right?
Well, I'm not involved on the campaign side, so I can't give you an exact number. But what I can say is that this is a critical water issue for our community. So we feel like it's important for the voters to be informed. I know there have been a lot of pamphlets. I personally see a pamphlet in my mailbox every day.
You've got lots here.
Yeah, there's a lot there. But at the same time, I would say I'm hearing the discussions have more depth to them, more facts on them. So there is a benefit to informing our community. But I do agree, there's a lot of information.
Do you think part of the problem is that a lot of ratepayers just don't trust Cal-Am? And by the way, I think a lot of ratepayers don't trust Monterey Peninsula Water Management District either, so I'm not trying to be unfair here. Mm-hmm. But this is a situation where a lot of people are still really, really ticked off that they were told to conserve, and they did, and you went to the PUC and you hit us with more fees.
Yeah, so that's a valid concern that you have in terms of conserving water and water costing more. What we have to understand is this is a statewide issue. You have Marin, Santa Barbara, San Diego, East Bay, MUD, Municipal Water District, public or private. They're dealing with the same issue of water providers have majority fixed costs. In Monterey, ours are about 95% fixed costs.
But you have a choice whether to have fixed profits. And you chose to go to the PUC to get fixed profits.
Well, it's one where it's being able to run our system, and profits are not the 19 million that was previously quoted. That actually has 11 million of future costs in it. It's a very small percentage of the total bill that gets emphasized, and that issue of conservation, I think that's public and private have the same issue throughout California, and there's still a lot of good that Cal-Am's doing actively for our community when it comes to delivering clean water safely.
All this relies on desal, Aaron?
Yeah, because I think there's two things that ratepayers want. They want affordable water, and they want enough of it. So the question is, what does all of this do if Measure J passes to the desal plant, which is in litigation, so it's not going to happen tomorrow in any case. But what does it do to that timeline? What is the the supporters of Measure J? What is their position on that? And does it affect, in your view, desal plant at all?
No, it doesn't. Measure J is completely about who owns the infrastructure that Cal-Am can build. If they can build it, we would buy it. It has no effect, and they keep saying that somehow we're delaying or distracting. Explain to me how that's even possible. We have no control over Cal-Am and what they do with that desal plant. The CPUC is the only one, the Coastal Commission. The public has no say in this.
However, there will be litigation, and we don't know where that's going to be. We do know that we're looking at a fight from the City of Marina and the Marina Water District, and then possibly the Coastal Commission. You know, we're getting a lot of promises from Cal-Am that, oh boy, we're going to have some water real soon. We really promise you that. Frankly, I've heard it for well over 20 years now. And we're getting a lot of promises from the Monterey Peninsula Water Management District. Don't worry, it's all going to be cool because we're a public agency. We can do it for less. And yet you're going to have to service debt and you're going to have to run an organization. Why should we trust either one of you? We'll start with you, Chris.
And what I would say for the water supply issues is I have a superintendent on my team who's been there for 40 years. He was saying for a long time, oh, when is that magic water from the north coming? Well, after we constructed the Monterey Pipeline, we got approval from the California Public Utilities Commission to move forward with the project. He's not saying that anymore. He's thinking about how operationally we'll make it work. And I think this is a time to celebrate as a community for how close we are to getting that environmental benefit of getting off the Carmel River, having sustainable draws from the Seaside Basin. And quite frankly, Public Water Now, if you go on their website, they say a lot of criticism of the desal, Monterey Peninsula Water Supply Project desal project. And the director has spoken in public meetings about how he thinks it's moving too fast and we should look longer at the test well and look at other options. So we need to move now.
Melody, we've been told that we're right around the corner many times.
Yeah, 4 years ago, remember it was on the horizon with the binoculars and the Cal-Am commercials? Well, it must have been a mirage because it's still on the horizon. So our director has never said what you just said, Chris. We oppose Cal-Am's desal because we don't think it's cost effective and it's poorly thought out. You're asking Marina to give up their groundwater for free and damage their groundwater system in order to benefit the peninsula.
And
how is that fair?
And so where will we get the water?
So where will we get the water?
Well, right now, next year, we're going to get 3,500 acre feet from the project designed and built by Pure Water Monterey and the Water Management District. The Water Management District in the last 25 years is responsible for 7,000 acre feet of the 9,900 acre feet we use now. I mean, if you want to look at who's provided new water supply, it's not Cal-Am, not a drop in the last 52 years that they've owned it. 7,000 acre feet for the Monterey Peninsula Water Management District.
If I could add to that, so looking at the history of water supplies, so when we talk about the water supplies that have been provided, I think what you're talking about with the 7,000 acre feet is the Aquifer Storage and Recovery Project.
It's a number of things, more than that.
Well, that's the main one in terms of new sources. And with that, we have, that's really a partnership in terms of we extract the water, they inject it. There's one site that they built, we built the other. So there's a partnership there that have both done. But I think for us, just as a community, we need to look forward. And while there have been past projects that have failed, this one is the farthest along we've ever gotten. And addressing the marina issue, the Monterey Bay Marine Sanctuary and the California Public Utilities Commission, both independent of Marina and Cal-Am, came out with environmental reports that said that there's no significant impact. So I would go with the independent people in terms of the approach, and I feel like we're getting there, and there's a lot of good that's happening, and we need to keep moving forward.
You realize that they refused, the CPUC refused to look at the Stanford research that Marina paid for because it was 1 day late.
And
so all of their side of their scientific research was discounted by the CPUC.
We're going to get into that debate at another time.
And it will be
Just wanted to bring
litigated.
that up.
And it
Yeah.
will be litigated.
And again, we're going to hear about it in court for many years to come. There's a core issue here, Aaron.
The core issue is, I think going forward, is what Dan has talked about, is
The ratepayer.
The ratepayer, and they want affordable water. I mean,
And-
when it comes down, right?
And so at the end of the day, we're about out of time. So I'm going to ask each of you, just 15, 20 seconds, give us the elevator pitch. Why should we trust you as a ratepayer, either one of you? You won the toss. We'll let Melody go first.
Okay.
You're not trusting Public Water Now. You're trusting the Water Management District. Once this passes, Measure J is in the hands of the Water Management District. We're just a citizens group that is tired of being price gouged by Cal-Am. My last water bill was $600 for 1 month of water, and my neighbors have $400 or $500 a month water bills. This is just enough. We've had it. We have no say with Cal-Am, no control. We want a public agency that is answerable to us. They will hold feasibility studies, they will do public hearings. We have input. You try to have input with CalAm and the CPUC, forget it. There is no input.
All right, Chris.
Personally, I think that the Water Management District does a good job of what they do, but what they don't do is deliver water. So asking them to see if they can operate the system and then claiming a low value of 250 to 300 million for the cost of the system, I think that's not realistic. And so even if you average what MR Valuation, a professional consulting firm, gave of 1 billion, and then a 300 million claim at 650 million, you're already paying $1,000 a year on property taxes. And I'm paying my property taxes right now, and I don't want that extra $1,000. But let me just close by saying I do feel like the CalAm is a good choice for our community. They keep the leak volume 2 times better than national average, and they do a great job.
There's no property taxes involved in Measure J, none.
Well, we're talking about debt service. I mean,
Okay,
you're going
but-
to have to get money
You want
somewhere
it
to
one way
It's not
or
provide.
it just goes on the water bill in place of CalAm's profit. That's how this is going to work.
If assuming those numbers wash out the same.
Right. Well, that's what makes it feasible. That's the point of why is this feasible? If it works within the range of what we're paying now, that's what feasible means.
And what we do know, we don't know whether you're right, we don't know whether you're right. What we do know is that the feasibility study, the election, all of the campaign, and all of the litigation going forward will be paid for in some way, shape, or form by the ratepayer here on the Monterey Peninsula. We want to thank both of you
Thank
for
you.
coming
Thank
in
you.
this afternoon. It is a very heartfelt issue on both sides, and we were especially grateful for you to share your thoughts here tonight. More on Measure J and this debate on our website.
You can also find more information on all the Central Coast races in the upcoming election. It's also on the KSBW mobile app.